Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Hopefully, you can all hear and see me okay. Thank you very much for joining us at this Your Overseas Home webinar. My name is Sebastian Bampton, and I'm one of the account managers over here at Your Overseas Home. Thank you all very much for joining us. Today, we're going to be chatting with Jake Roscoe from Smart Currency Exchange. Jake, thanks again for being here. I know you've done quite a few of these with us over the last few months, so thank you very much for your time. We're going to be talking all about the financial considerations that you should think about when moving overseas. Foreign exchange is a very important part of the process. Sometimes it is overlooked, and there can be some pretty significant repercussions and risks involved in doing so. Whether you are watching live or on demand, it's great to have you all here with us. And before we get started, Jake, I'll pass over to you to do a quick intro to yourself, and then we'll go back through to the next part of the webinar. So, Jake, over to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Seb. Nice to see you. Thanks for having me again. Hi, everyone. My name is Jake Roscoe. I work for Smart Currency Exchange. We're a currency broker that's been going out for 20 years. I've been in currency for 4 years, and before that I was working in overseas property, so I know a lot about the overseas property buying journey, and hopefully over the next half an hour I can give you some information, education, and take you on a little bit of a journey, and hopefully answer some of your questions as well. So thank you very much.
Perfect, Jake. Yeah, thanks again for being here. And yes, I know you and I have worked with each other for a number of years now, and I know Smart Currency and Your Overseas Home, worked with each other for even longer than that. So yeah, it's great to have you here with us, and thanks for giving us some of your knowledge and experience around this really important part of the process. For everyone listening in, once Jake has shared his presentation, we'll open up the floor to questions. At the bottom right-hand side of your screen, there will be a questions tab. As and when we're going through the presentation, please drop any questions that you have within there on certain slides. If we can ask those to Jake during the discussion on that slide, then I'll put them towards him. If not, at the end of the session, we'll probably have 10 to 15 minutes to kind of go through those questions in more detail. Yeah, without further ado, I don't want to take any more of the time that we've allocated for this webinar. So Jake, I'll pass back over to you. If you can share your screen and go into the presentation.
Perfect. Thanks, Seb. Will do. Hi, everyone. Like I said before, my name is Jake Roscoe. I'm here to take you on a little bit of an overseas property purchase journey. And we're going to play what I like to call the casino game, or the currency casino game. So last year in 2024, for a client that had £300,000 budget, this is how much currency was at risk between the highest rate of 2024 and the lowest rate of 2024. So essentially what you're doing is going into the casino and putting your money on red or black and hoping that it's the one of your choice. I know I definitely wouldn't gamble with this amount of money, and I don't expect anybody else to do on this call either. A little bit of background on currency as a whole, for those that aren't as familiar with it as I am. Why do exchange rate move? So the currency markets are the most traded on the planet. As you can see here, trillions of dollars are traded every day, not just with pounds, euros, and dollars, but all sorts of currencies are being traded all the time by big banks, countries, investors, etc., etc. So these markets are highly volatile due to the scale of the markets and how much is transacted on a daily basis. Currency markets can be affected by a lot of different things. Political situations, i.e. Donald Trump being elected. Situations like COVID can have a big impact on certain currency pairs, and also things like Brexit and new elections in government. Any political factors can also have a big impact on currency pairs. Like I said before, exchange rates are moving every second of every day, and market sentiment plays a big role in the prices. A lot of investors are keeping a good eye on all of the data that's coming out from different central banks, different governments, what the Bank of England are doing with interest rates, just to name a couple of things. So these things also have a big, or can have a big effect on the volatility of the markets. Here's some key influences from the past 2 years. Obviously, it's not exclusive to these, but here's some of the big ones, especially in the UK. We've had elections in UK, France, in the US more recently. These all can have effects on the currency markets and have had effects on the currency markets. Like I said before, change of government. We've gone in the UK. We've gone from Boris Johnson to Liz Truss to Rishi Sunak to now Keir Starmer. So a lot of change has happened over the past 2 years, especially in the UK, which can lead to volatility in the markets. We have things like the budget. Rachel Reeves's budget in 2024 was not very well received, let's put it that way, or in my opinion, it wasn't anyway. So again, all these things can have a positive or a negative effect on currency pairs. Some fiscal events such as soaring inflation, interest rates cuts, just interest rates in general, cost of living crisis post-COVID. These can have effects on countries' currency value and currency pairs. And then I don't like to talk too much about geopolitical factors, but we have to talk about the conflict in Gaza and also Ukraine war with supply chain issues and other issues as well, sanctions, etc. And more recently with tariffs from Donald Trump, as it's quite common. Well, not common, should I say? It's in the news at the moment. So all these things have influenced the currency markets and can have a positive or a negative effect on currency. So here's an example of, this is probably the most popular transactions that we do are pounds to euros. We also do a lot of pounds to dollars and dollars to euro as well. But this is just an example of last year's currency pair between the pound and the euro. So as you can see here, it's highly volatile. Over 2024, there was a 5.3 difference between the highest and the lowest rate. What does this mean for you? This means that it could be the difference between you being able to afford an overseas property and not. It also could mean the difference between you paying for your legal fees, your notary fees, or maybe even you might want to put a nice pool, private pool in your nice new villa on the Costa Blanca. So when we're talking about a few hundreds or a few thousands of pounds, you don't really see the impact. But when you're talking about hundreds of thousands of pounds, that's when currency volatility really does come into play and can have a big impact on your plans moving forwards. So how does currency risk arise and what is it exactly? So within Smart, we talk a lot about currency risk, but how does that impact you and the plans that you have during your overseas property purchase journey? So I've outlined here a few steps of how we see a property transaction or an overseas property journey. On this call, there might be a few of you that are in research phase. Some of you might have already been out on a viewing trip already, looking at some properties, already narrowed down a certain area that you want to be in. Once you've found your property, obviously you make an offer for that property and hopefully that offer gets accepted. Once your offer is accepted, this is where currency risk comes into play. So as you can see here at the bottom, on day X, your offer is accepted for 350,000 euros, which on that day is costing you 288,000 pounds. Now, through that sales process, which can take anywhere up to 3-9 months, depending on if you buy a new build or a resale, or if you need a mortgage, in that time, the currency markets are still moving. So like I said before, they're moving every second of every day. So whilst you're going through that sales process, you come 3-6 months down the line, your completion price in euros is still the same, 350,000. But this now could be 303,000 pounds, which you may or may not have budgeted for in the first place. So this is what we call currency risk, and this is why it's important to understand all your options and make sure you're making the right decision throughout the property purchase journey for you and your budget.
Jake, just
Yep.
just before we move on, so this is really fascinating. It's good to put it in perspective about that currency risk and basically how much it can affect how much the property is going to cost you in your original currency. If someone's searching for a property and they haven't found a property, throughout that process of searching for a property, which can take just as much time, as it does once you find a property to actually complete, I presume their budget will also be moving with the market. So if I had £100,000, 3 months ago, that's going to mean I have a different budget today than I did 3 months ago as I moved around. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay.
And that's why one of the reasons we say to get in touch with the currency specialist as soon as possible. Now, I know currency risk I've put here as from an offer accepted, but realistically, your currency risk is throughout your whole overseas property journey. The reason why we put it as offer accepted is because that's when you know exactly how much you'll be paying in the foreign currency for the property that you want to buy. But if I'm completely honest with you, Seb, people, in my opinion, should be getting in touch with us before their viewing trip so they can really understand what their budget is in the foreign currency. So yeah, you are right. The currency risk is throughout the whole journey, but it becomes even more important once you've got that offer accepted.
Yeah, I think so. With your overseas home, we find that the people buying property, the hardest part is actually finding the right property for them. That can take quite a bit of time, and then when you find that property, things move quite quickly, and you then can be looking to speak to solicitors, visa experts, mortgage brokers, foreign exchange experts, when really you want to speak to them before going across, so you've got everything set up and in place and ready to go. So again, with currencies, really, really important part of the process, which you should have a conversation about or be aware about before. So everyone listening in, you're one step ahead of the game already, which is good. So Jake, sorry, back over to you.
No, that's good, Seb. 100%. The more education, the more research you can do before you even, go out to the country of your choosing, the better prepared you are for, knowing how much money you can spend. You might even have a currency plan already in place with us, because we do have a longer term trading team, which do look after our clients that are a bit, like 6 months plus. So I'm going to go through some options as well of how we can help those people that are still in that research and viewing phase. On to the next slide. So what can I do about currency risk? So we have multiple, one of the reasons why, in my opinion, you should choose a currency specialist is because you have a lot of different options available to you that you probably wouldn't get to find anywhere else. So say, for example, your high street bank won't be able to offer some of the options that we can offer you for your overseas property purchase. One of the main contracts that we use is a forward contract. So a forward contract essentially removes all of your currency risk. So I'll go through an example with you. Say, what day is it today? 13th of February. If you find a property of your dream, you have a price in pounds. You get your offer accepted in euros, 350,000. Essentially, what a forward contract does is it helps you buy that currency on today, and we can deliver that rate on completion. So you know exactly how much you're going to be paying on day one, as you will on day 90 or 120, whatever the date of your completion is. And it removes all the currency risk on the market. So essentially you're pre-buying the euros at the rate at today's rate, or a rate that you like. And that rate will be delivered to you on the day of your completion. Now, this is a very popular option because, like I said, let's put it this way. Would you buy a house in the UK without knowing what the price was going to be on the day of completion? Seb, I know you've recently got on the property ladder. Would you have bought your house not knowing the price on the day of completion?
Oh, I'm not much of a gambling man. I swear it's probably not, because it was very tight budget as it was. So no, I think I'd like to play it safe. With this option of forward contract, Jay, I know you said secure it today. Does that mean I would need to transfer all of my money today on the day that I have an offer accepted, or can you lock it in? Is that what you're talking about, locking in a forward contract and then paying at a later date? What does that actually look like from that part of the process?
Yeah, so what we will do is we'll take usually around 5% of the amount that you want to lock in as an upfront payment,
Mhm.
and then the rest of the balance will be paid on the day of completion. So say, for example, you have your money in a high interest account in the UK, we'll only require 5% to fix that rate for, some people fix rates for 90 days, 120 days. We can do that up into usually 12 months. And then the rest of the balance in pounds will be paid on the day of completion. So we tie it in nicely with your overseas property purchase, basically. That's why it's so popular. A
Gives you
lot
that
of our
peace of mind.
clients, yeah, sorry, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Gives you that peace of mind, and you know exactly how much you're going to be paying on day 90 or 120, whatever that is.
Mm.
And like I said before, a lot of our clients have funds in a high interest account, so you're still earning money from your interest account here in the UK, and you've got your rate fixed for the day of your completion in Spain or France or US, Portugal, wherever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a real life example. I'm taking interbank rates, what we call interbank rate, which is what the market is trading at, what all the banks trade at, from December. So Debbie and Richard, they find their dream villa, as I was saying before, 350,000 euros on the Costa Blanca, nice and sunny. They pay a small reservation deposit, and on the 11th of December, the total cost of their property in pounds is 288,000. Now, if we go to the 21st of January, which was only 3 weeks ago, which is just over a month after their offer being accepted, with that the exchange rate on that day, the cost of their property in pounds was actually £8,000 more than it was just 5 weeks before. So their completion date is on the 10th of March, and they actually don't know how much their property is going to cost them in pounds because they didn't use a forward contract. So my question to the people on this call is why would you take the gamble? Why I mean, in my opinion, I think with those sums of money, I'd be making sure I know exactly how much I'm gonna be paying on the day of completion,
Mm.
and taking advantage of certain rates within the market.
Yeah, I know you and I probably aren't the gambling type, but if someone was perhaps, let's say, a bit more of a gambler when it came down to these sums of money, but perhaps wanted to minimise some of the risk, is there an option to perhaps hedge some of that risk? Booking a forward contract perhaps for some of it and then take a risk on the other. Does that kind of scenario happen, or is that common at all?
Yeah, so quite a few of our clients actually, they'll fix half of their budget. If someone's got a bit more appetite towards risk and wants to play the markets a little bit, they'll lock in half of their purchase price. So they know that they're going to be, they know exactly how much they're going to pay for half of their budget, and then they'll speculate a little bit more on the other half. Now, obviously, if you speculate, the rates could go up, could go down. So as long as you've got enough money budgeted for that potential downturn, then this could be an option for you as well.
Gotcha. And just on while we're on the topic of forward contracts, Jay, we've had a couple of questions in from Peter, who's listening in. The first one is around eliminating the risk and the forward contract, how it eliminates the risk. Do you mind just clarifying how the forward contract eliminates that currency risk if someone were to book it in?
Yeah, of course. So let's take today's rate. We're trading around about, pound to euro, we're trading around about 120. So 120 euros for every pound. So, which in my opinion is a good rate because it's quite high compared to the last couple of years. Now, if you like that rate and you found a property, or you're definitely certain that you're going to be buying a property abroad, then essentially what you do is you'll call up someone like Smart Currency, you'll get your account set up, which usually takes about 5 minutes, and you can say to Smart Currency, okay, I would like to book a forward contract for X amount of pounds, let's just say £300,000. We will lock in that rate for you at today's rate, so around about what we're trading at, which is around the 120. Now, regardless of, so say for example your completion is in 3 months' time, this 120 rate that you've locked in today, we will deliver that in 3 months' time. So the market, regardless of what the market does in the next 3 months, whether it's going up or down, it doesn't matter. The rate that you've locked in today will be delivered on the day of your completion. So you know exactly how much you will be paying for that rate on the day of completion.
Gotcha. Okay, no, that's really clear. So I guess in a way you're securing the rate, let's say today, and then anything between now and completion, if you've booked in the full contract, is basically irrelevant,
Correct.
because you've secured it. A question which you may answer on the next slide, Jake, and apologies we're jumping the gun here, but
No worries.
is around how do, I suppose, Smart make their money on a forward contract, or perhaps on any sort of trade if a listener was to book in a trade. So where do Smart kind of make their money? I know Peter's asked, how do you make the money with only a 5% deposit on a forward contract? Do you mind just kind of disclosing that in a little bit more detail?
Yeah, of course. So the rate that I'm quoting is interbank rate, which is what the market trades at. So that's what the central banks, the banks are trading at. That rate isn't available to individuals like myself or yourself or people on this call. So what we will do here at Smart Currency is we will buy currency off one of the banks at a rate, and then we will sell it to our customers at a slightly different rate, charging a small percentage on the exchange rate. Now, all of our rates are included in the price. So we will, you will have to give us a go ahead if you're happy with the price that we give you. There's no hidden fees. There's no cost for, setting up the account. Everything is built into, everything is built into the exchange rate that you'll be getting off us on when you speak to one of our traders, or if you decide to use our online portal. So we just charge a small percentage between market rate and what we offer our clients, basically.
Sure. Okay, great. Thanks, Jay. Thanks for the questions, Peter. We have one as well from Andrew around the actual completion date. So let's say we found a property, things are still in conversations, contracts being signed and stuff, and perhaps didn't have a date of completion yet, but we're hoping to book in a forward contract. Would that matter if we perhaps didn't put a date on the forward contract? Do you have to pick a date for a forward contract? What does that look like?
We're pretty flexible with dates, if I'm honest. Sometimes things happen, things get pushed back. If you don't have an exact date yet, we can fix something in for a month or 3 months. And if it gets pushed out a little bit, then we can push the date. That's not a problem.
What about something like 9 to 12 months? Can you forward contract on that sort of time frame?
Yeah, we usually do forward contracts up to 12 months.
Okay.
Anything beyond that becomes a little bit more speculative. We can do them, but I would probably wait to a bit further down the line. But yeah, anything up to 12 months is we're pretty flexible with dates.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks, Andrew, for the questions. Thanks, Jake. I'll go back over to you with the presentation. Jake, so we get going.
Oh, good. So this is the slide we've all been waiting for, which is the title to the webinar. Well, basically 3 ways a currency specialist can help you secure your dream home. So as I've been saying throughout the whole presentation, it's really getting yourself educated and understanding what currency risk is and how much currency risk you can be susceptible to with the budget that you've got for your overseas property. We can help you with that. Obviously, we have all the data on our side. We know when all the government releases are happening, when our traders are looking at the markets day in, day out, and this is what they do. You get a personal account manager with Smart Currency, which will, be with you every step of the way, and they will be able to help you make the right decisions. Another thing we can help you with is agreeing a currency plan. So my advice to any clients that are on the call is before your viewing trip, have a chat with us, open an account. The accounts are completely free. Excuse me. And yeah, you can agree your currency plan before you even go on your viewing trip, so you know exactly how much budget you're working with in that foreign currency based on current market rates. Mm-hmm. And like I said to you before, using a forward contract is a very popular option amongst our clients. I'd say over 50% of our clients use a forward contract. It's something that not your high street bank won't offer you. And it ties in very nicely with the overseas property purchase journey. So here's a little bit of information on the process. Like I said before, speak to an expert early, understand your budget, agree your currency plan. That would be my biggest takeaway from this webinar. and then leave the fun bits up to yourselves. Obviously, finding your house, viewing the houses, that's all the fun bit. Let us deal with all the less fun bits, let's put it that way. Important, but less fun. Find your dream property, get your offer accepted. Unless you're buying a new build property, then the price is usually the price. Execute your currency plan. So with all the information and knowledge that you've got from speaking to someone like Smart Currency, you can, like I said, secure an exchange rate that you're comfortable with. And then X amount of time down the line, completion day, start enjoying your new home and sipping sangria in the sun if you're in Spain, and if you're in France, then probably a nice glass of wine. This is the process, very, very top level in brief, but gives you an idea of how we plug in as well. So a few bits on Smart Currency. We've got a great Trustpilot review, so please do have a look on there. Check us out. We've been established for over 20 years now. Last year was our 20th birthday, so we're not going anywhere anytime soon. We help thousands of clients, with their overseas property purchase. We don't just help with overseas property. We can do, if you're looking to just send currency for another reason, we can also help with that. We're overseas property specialists. This is what we do. We partner with lots of people like Your Overseas Home. We also partner with brands like Rightmove and lots of local estate agents in France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, the US as well. So this is what we do day in, day out. We've transferred over £12 billion over the 20 years that we've been running. And all our team is based in the UK, in Hammersmith, London, as you can see on my background, the nice Hammersmith Bridge. If anyone is in and around London, we're all based in the UK. We've got a full UK customer service, and yeah, it's more of a white glove service. You'll get an account manager that is going to hold your hand every step of the way, because we know it can be daunting at times. So that just gives you a bit of a background on who we are. We're also FCA regulated, so your money is protected. Yeah, that's about it from me. I was just trying to think if there's anything that I've missed on there, but if there's any questions, they'll be greatly appreciated.
Cheers, Jake. Thank you. I know I've got a couple of questions that are in the questions tab, which I'll ask you, but no, thank you. That was really comprehensive. I think, I know from my time working with Your Overseas Home, the amount of people that you and the team at Smart Currency have assisted in basically protecting themselves from currency risk and ensuring that they aren't losing out on thousands of euros, of dollars, or pounds when buying property. It's really, really important part of the process, which I'm glad that we've got so many people listening in live, because they're getting this information early and they're helping to protect themselves. One question, I know we spoke a lot about forward contracts, and this discussion is focused around buying dream homes. Now, I know people listening in may also be looking to relocate and perhaps have pensions and stuff to transfer to their new countries. Can you also help with sort of other transactions outside of just property purchases?
Yeah, correct. We can help with pretty much anything, really. If you've got a pension in the UK that you're wanting to send abroad, we can put you on what we call a regular payment plan, which is we can fix you a rate for the next 12 months and deliver that rate every month. So, and it just happens automatically, which is quite popular amongst our clients. We can also help you with, like I said before, it doesn't just have to be an overseas property. If you're buying a car or a boat, or, we've had people buying yachts, or just sending money abroad for a wedding or for their education fees and stuff like that. We can literally help for anything. Also, if you have an overseas mortgage as well, a lot of people usually want to fix a rate for their overseas mortgage in Spain or France. We can deliver that on a monthly basis on a regular payment plan as well. They're probably our most common contracts that we use: the forward contract and the regular payment plan. And we also have another contract called the market order, which essentially means if you're targeting a certain rate, we can trade that rate for you when that rate hits, no matter what time of day that hits, so you don't have to be constantly looking at the markets. So some of our clients use that as well. But yeah, we can help with most things, to be honest.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you. I know Andrew had a question around pensions. So yeah, sounds like I know Smart can definitely help you. We've got a question from Peter, and it is quite unique, I think, to Peter's situation. It sounds like there has been a property that's found. So well done, Peter. Things are progressing. He's asked what the approximate cost would be to using a forward contract. Now, there's quite a significant amount of dollars to euros that will be exchanged. Is it be something that you could answer now, Jake, or would you advise having a conversation perhaps away from here to answer?
Yeah, I think it would probably be best if, Peter, if you're still on the call, on the QR code in the top left, you can scan it, and that will bring you into our team, and they'll be able to discuss that further. I can't, obviously, every situation is different. Everybody's situation is unique, and it all depends on how much money you're looking to transfer, etc., etc. So it's probably best for you to give us a call, and we can try and help you through that property purchase journey.
We jumped the gun a little bit there, Jake. Peter hasn't found a property. That's just the
budget.
Okay. So you're still looking, Peter, but we wish you all the luck. And say your overseas home, we have a network of agents as well. If you're looking to be put in touch with estate agents, reach out after this, and we can get in touch and help. But yeah, everyone's requirements, I think, are unique. And from my experience of working with Smart, having that conversation is, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's free. There's no obligation to use them, but it at least gives you some more understanding about what their role is, but also why it's so important to kind of prepare for this part of the process, which will inevitably come if you find the dream property or the right property. One question, I know we've run slightly over time. The general view, I think, in the past has been, I'll just use my banks for this, and I know you've highlighted a few reasons. Or a few ways in which a currency specialist such as Smart can differ from a bank. Why is it important that perhaps if someone doesn't use a bank outside of the forward contracts? Is there anything else that you'd like to put in there just to kind of really cement it?
Yeah, so again, I said biggest takeaway was something else before, but this is probably another one as well. Please, if you are sending large sums of money abroad, please do not use your high street bank. I've got nothing against high street banks, but you will get charged more than a currency specialist will charge you, and you will also be very limited to what services and options you can get from the banks. If you think of it this way, the banks have got many services. Currency exchange is not at the top of their list, so they don't give you the care, attention, and service and pricing that you deserve, really. So yeah, if you can take away one or two things from this call, one of them is please do not use your high street bank for sending large sums of money abroad.
There you go. You heard it here first. There's two key takeaways. No, just to echo that, I think before I kind of got into international property purchases and knew the process, my first thought would be I could just do it through my bank when I find a property on the day of completion. And just know from some of the stories that I've heard, people can lose out on thousands of pounds or US or dollars or euros. So yeah, please do not do that if you're listening in. Peter's got one last question. Is Smart similar as Wise? So I know Wise is quite well known. Just highlights maybe some of the different services that Smart offer and why they are different to Wise, if that's all right, Jake.
Yeah, of course. So Wise, essentially, we provide the same service in a sense of overseas payments. However, Wise is usually everything's done online, so you don't have that account management, you don't have that hand holding, you don't have that white glove service that you would do with a broker like Smart Currency Exchange. So if you want to do things online and usually things don't go wrong, but in case they do, it's always nice to have someone at the other end of the phone or someone that you've been working with to come up with a currency plan for your property purchase. With Wise, it's going to be very transactional on the day. Whatever the rate is on the day is the rate that you will get. And everything's based online. So it depends what you're looking for. I personally prefer a personalized touch and someone that's going to help me with my particular requirement. But yeah, that's the biggest difference, really.
Yeah, I think I've actually used Wise myself for small amounts in the past, and it's very different transferring a small amount as it is to perhaps transferring 600,000 euros. I think Peter may have mentioned your budget. Wise is transactional. You're not going to get any guidance on that. You know, you're not going to be able to pick up the phone or speak to someone or get updates on currency. But also, I don't believe Wise offer forward contracts, as far as I'm aware. I think it is very much spot exchanges, you know, as and when you want to do it. And Andrew just confirmed that in the chat as well. So thank you, Andrew, for confirming, because I wasn't too sure. That's great, though. I know we've gone slightly over time, and I think we've covered all the questions in the chat so far. Thank you to everyone that's listening live, and thank you to all the questions. And of course, Jake, you know, thanks to you and for your time, and hopefully everyone listening in has found it useful and insightful, and taken away some really key nuggets of information that they can put forward into their plans or journeys of buying properties. As Jake mentioned, there is the QR code there. Please feel free to scan that. I've worked with Smart for a number of years. The whole team is great, and they've helped so many of our clients, and I'm sure they'll be just as eager and happy to help you on your journeys. If there's any other help that we can help with, your Overseas Home work with a network of other experts, you know, not just currency exchange like Smart, but also mortgage brokers, estate agents, visa experts. Please do get in touch with us directly. We will pass your details across to Smart as well. So if they send across an email, give you a quick call. Do try and give them a bit of time, a bit of information about what you're looking to do. There should be a couple of pop-ups, one for a Trustpilot review. So if you found it useful, we'd really appreciate you to leave us a nice review. I know Jake would as well. It makes his day and it made my day. And also there should be another link to our next virtual event, which is basically a virtual online fair where you can meet everyone you need under one roof from the comfort of your own home. You can interact with them. You can visit booths. We'll also have seminars similar to what we have done today on all aspects of the buying process. So if you're looking to buy property overseas, it is a great resource to come and join us for. But yeah, Jake, one last time, thanks to you. Thanks for the tips and guidance. And everyone listening in, thanks for your time, and all the best with your property searching.
Thanks, Seb. It's been a pleasure. And also, I'll be at the virtual event as well. So if anyone wants to see any more of me, then feel free. I'm looking forward to that one. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, guys. All the best. Have a nice evening. Cheers, Jake.
Take care.
Bye.